think that I hope that you can see my desktop. What we are focusing on today is hard times. So this is our last topic dealing with Dickens. Okay, we last time we read, or 2 times ago we read something dealing with Oliver Twist, that is his autobiographical novel, while today we are focusing on another social novel that is, riuscite a vedere lo schermo, vero? I hope so. That is Hard Times. Okay, Hard Times in Italian sounds more or less like tempi difficili. Okay, tempi duri, tempi difficili. And first of all, I would like to say something about Hard Times, about the general plot, about the features, the characteristics, and then if we have enough time, we will also focus on an extract taken from the chapter 5 of the book 1, which is Coketown, but later on. Let's focus very quickly on the content of this novel. As you already know, because I told you in one of my lessons, Hard Times was published, like all of Dickens's novels, in installments, so in periodical publication, in Dickens's magazine, Household Words. The publication, as you can see in this slide, started on the 1st of April, 1854, and it lasted on August the 12th. So April, May, June, July. The publication in installments, so serialized, lasted for about 4 months in 1854. So it was not at the beginning of Dickens's career, but when Dickens wrote Hard Times, he was already famous. Okay, he had already been to America. He was already well known. So this novel is usually considered a social novel, and it is one of the most discussed novels, works of literature in all of the whole 19th century. Even though it is not usually regarded as Dickens's greatest work. Okay, so it is very famous. It is one of the most discussed, even though it is not considered, generally considered, the greatest of Charles Dickens's novels. Why is it usually discussed? Why is it one of the most discussed novels? Because, as we will see together, it is not only a work of literature, but the themes that Dickens deals with in our times have been of interest for political theorists, for social commentators, for historians. So all the topics, all the themes that we find in this novel have been of interest for a lot of scholars, theorists, commentators, historians who are not teachers of literature. Okay, because the themes are different, are various, and they are a lot. Let's say what are the most important features of this novel. Quindi concentriamoci su quelle che sono le caratteristiche fondamentali di questo romanzo. The first, who is the narrator? Who is the speaking voice? You remember that, for example, in Frankenstein, we have got 3 narrators. So we can hear 3 speaking voices. In Frankenstein, you should know, we have the voice of Victor Frankenstein, the scientist. We can hear the voice of another narrator who is the monster, the creature himself. And we can also hear the voice and read the words written by the explorer, okay? Robert Walton, I mean. Here, in Hard Times, as in most of the novels written by Charles Dickens, we have a third person narrator. a third person, and he is anonymous, so he doesn't have a name. So the person who tells the story uses the third person singular, he is anonymous, and he is limited omniscient. Cosa significa? Ha una conoscenza limitata. He is not omniscient, so he doesn't know omnia, everything, but he has a limited vision, a limited knowledge of the story. And don't forget that this is a characteristic which is common to most or to all of Dickens's novels. This narrator is a kind of moral authority. Do you remember what I told you about Dickens, about the importance of education, of moral in his novels? The narrator in Dickens always creates, builds a rigid barrier between what is right and what is wrong, between what is good and what is evil, it is bad. And also in this case, the narrator in Hard Times is a moral authority. He is sure of what is right and what is wrong. He creates, he erects, he builds this rigid barrier, okay? And he is a moral authority because he makes moral judgments about all the characters. So he speaks of the characters, he tells the stories of the characters, he tells the events, the episodes in the lives of characters, expressing, making moral judgments, saying or making the readers understand who is good and who is bad. Okay, and so the narrator, this kind of anonymous third person, limited omniscient narrator, shapes significa modella, ok? The shape è la forma, quindi forma, modella our interpretation of the novel. So we look at the events with the eye of the narrator, okay? Then, the narrator so is a third person limited omniscient narrator. What about the point of view? The point of view, as I said, is the third person, okay? And the third person, when the narrator uses the third person point of view, it means, as you can see here on the right of the slide, that the story is told from the author point of view. And he uses the words, for example, the pronouns he, she, it, quindi ci racconta la storia come se si ponesse un po' all'esterno, lui fece, lui raccontò, ok, this is the point of view. It is used the third person singular, and it looks at the story from this point of view, from the outside, okay? Let's go to the other feature of Hard Times. So we spoke about the narrator, we spoke about the point of view used, and now we say something about the setting. The setting, you know, that is the ambientazione. When we speak of setting for a novel, we usually speak of setting in time, ok, quindi in quale periodo? The historical period, the moment in history when the story is set, and the setting in place. So where is the story set? When, the time, when is the story set, and the place, where is the story set? The time, the setting in time of the novel Hard Times is in the middle of the 19th century. We said that the novel was published in the middle of the 19th century and it is set in the same time. Okay, so for the people who read the novel, the people, not for, the people who read the novel, the readers of the novel, could easily identify, okay, could easily see, could easily recognize in the novel events, people, habits, lifestyle that they knew. Okay, so this novel was not set in a far away past or was not set in a future, far away future, but the setting in time was as all or almost all the novel written by Charles Dickens was the middle of the 19th century, so the present times. Don't forget that this is one of the characteristics, one of the features of Dickens's novel. The setting in time is usually the time when he writes, because people wanted to find things that they knew, things that could mirror their lives, as we have already said. Okay, it is a kind of social realism. Mm? Then, what about the setting in place? Where is the story set? The story is set in Coketown. Coketown. Don't forget that if you look for Coketown on a map of Britain, you will never find this place because Coketown is a fictional town. Okay, it doesn't exist. There isn't any Coketown in England or in Britain. This is invented. It was a product of Dickens's fancy. Okay, so the setting, the town, Coketown, is not real. It's fictional, but it has got all the characteristics, all the features of a manufacturing town in the south of England, in the industrialized south of England. Don't forget that, when Dickens is writing this novel, in the middle of the 19th century, in a period when the second industrial revolution is at its best, when the south of England is the richest and the most industrialized part of Europe and maybe of the whole world. You already know it. Don't forget that we are speaking about the Victorian age and you know much about the Victorian age. Okay, but don't forget that this Coketown is invented, is fictional. It is a product of the fancy because you cannot find this city, this town, this industrial manufacturing town in any maps. Let's focus on the name of the place, of Coketown. Ok, cerchiamo di soffermarci su quello che è il nome di Coketown. As you can see, it is invented, it is a product of fancy, but it makes sense, okay? Because it is a compound name, okay? And it is made by town, okay? You know what a town is, and Coke. Coke non è la Coca-Cola, okay? But it's a type of coal. Coal means carbone. Il carbone coke, okay? It is a type of coal. So, Coketown means the town of coke, the town where the coke is used. So it is the symbol of all the manufacturing industrial towns in England in the Victorian age. Okay, so even though it doesn't exist, it has got it summarizes, it puts together all the most important characteristics of the manufacturing industrialized cities, towns in England in that particular specific historical moment. So we said the narrator, the point of view, the setting. Let's focus on the tone of the narrator, the tone of the novel. This tone changes drastically. It is not always the same. It is usually ironic. We find in hard times a lot of irony, even though you know, you should remember that Dickens's irony is often very bitter. Don't forget, for example, the irony, the bitter irony that we have found when reading the extract taken from Oliver Twist. I mean, please, sir, I want some more. Do you remember how bitter the irony in that extract was? That type of bitter irony can be easily found also in the tone used in our times. So there is irony in the tone, there is satire, okay? The tone is even mocking. Mocking significa che prende in giro, okay? But the tone, as I told you, can change drastically. In fact, sometimes the tone is pathetic because it wants to evoke sympathy for the people, for the lost, for the forgotten people. This characteristic of the tone is peculiar of Dickens, because you know how Dickens tried to mix irony, satire, mocking tone with sympathy, compassion, okay, sometimes drama. Let's focus on the tenses. Tenses significa tempo verbale, in questo caso è singolare, il tempo verbale che viene usato nel romanzo. The tense used in the novel by the narrator and by Dickens, the writer. The narrative, all the narrative in the novel uses the simple past tense. Okay, so it is like a third person, limited, omniscient narrator speaks about events that have already happened. Okay, so the narrator speaks of events, of people, of things, of matters which have already been, which have already happened. He uses the past. È come se io raccontassi da narratore la storia di qualcosa che è già successa. Quindi userei il passato. Ieri, 2 anni fa, il classico c'era una volta, as a fairy tale, c'era una volta, once upon a time, okay, there was a princess. Okay, he uses the third person as events that have already been, have already happened. But at the end of the novel, the narrator reveals, tells, expresses what will happen in the future. So it takes the most important characters in the novel, and using the futures, it speaks, it reveals what will happen to them, what their future will be like. Okay, so a lot of past plus in the last pages, the future, like a kind of forecast, previsione, of what will happen in the lives of the most important characters, of the main characters. What are the themes in Dickens's Hard Times? What are the most important ones? We said at the beginning of the lesson, at the beginning of this lesson, that Dickens that this novel, is really matter of dispute, that a lot of social commentators, a lot of philosophers, a lot of teachers also, a lot of different scholars have disputed, have debated on this novel. And we have said why? Because it is full of themes that are not only literary. These are the most important. What does the novel deal with? Quali sono i temi? Di che cosa parla questo romanzo? Quali sono i temi principali che hanno dato quindi origine a tanta disputa, a tanto dibattito sul romanzo stesso? The first, the mechanization of human beings. What does it mean, the word mechanization? Mechanic. When is a thing mechanic? Quando una cosa diventa meccanica? When it repeats always the same things, okay? A mechanism is something which repeats over and over the same actions, ok? Il meccanismo dell'orologio, ad esempio, è qualcosa di preciso che ripete la stessa cosa sempre, ok? So, what is the mechanization of human beings? The human beings, so the people, the humans, the men, the women, the children, are mechanized, in Dickens's opinion. And they are mechanized because of the industrialization, the Industrial Revolution. The lives of people is full of repetitions. Like in a factory, everybody does the same actions day after day, year after year. All the life of people is mechanized. And this mechanization has got another feature. Ok? La meccanizzazione porta ad un'altra difficoltà, ok? E un'altra caratteristica si aggiunge. It is that what is mechanized banishes, vieta, allontana, fancy, imagination. The mechanization, the repetition of the same actions, trivial, banal actions, day after day, banishes, sets apart fancy. Fancy is not allowed in a world made of facts. This opposition between fancy, imagination, and what we call reality, facts, ok, fatti, le cose concrete, is central, is crucial in hard times. All the story is based on this opposition between the world of fancy, of imagination, of feelings, of emotions, okay, and the strength and the importance given to facts, okay, so to real things that is part of the industrialization, okay. Another theme which is really important in our times is the importance of femininity. Femininity, la femminilità, not of the women in society, no, but of the femininity which is seen as linked to fancy, okay? The women are the only beings, human beings, who are still able of fancy, who can still feel emotions, who have the possibility to be connected with a part of themselves which is real, which is far from the mechanization and from facts. Ok? Poi leggendo qualcosa ne parleremo in maniera più approfondita. Abbiamo parlato del tono, we talked about the tone, we talked about the topics, the themes, the narrator, the point of view, okay? But what is the aim of the novel? Lo scopo del romanzo. Don't forget that we are speaking of Charles Dickens. And so you should guess what his aim was. The aim of the novel, Hard Times' aim, is to make, as you can read here, the reader feel there is something that is not adequate in the civilization described in our times. So the reader should understand, should feel that there is something wrong in what people are doing, that there is something wrong in the mechanization of human beings which characterize their society, that there is something wrong in this abundance of facts, okay, in this opposition between fancy, which is put apart, and fact that are central and crucial in the life of people. Okay, sorry, I go on. This is Dickens's aim. This is what he wants to express. He wants to make the reader think and feel what the problems of the industrialized, mechanized society are. And he wants to make them aware that if they don't change, if they don't try to change this type of civilization, people, men, human beings will change into machines. Okay, it's a kind of warning. Warning means avviso, è una sorta di avviso che lui fa, dice attenti, se continuiamo così a fare in modo che siano le macchine a dominarci, sia soltanto il bisogno di denaro a dominarci, arriveremo ad un punto in cui l'uomo sarà come una macchina e la sua vita non sarà certo piacevole. Lavorare, lavorare, lavorare per guadagnare e non avere più spazio per le cose belle. No time, okay? No interest in something which is really beautiful. No interest in fancy. No interest in emotions. Okay? This is his aim. Sul riassunto ci vado molto veloce, the summary of the main events, perché vi dirò soltanto quello che io in realtà voglio sapere. As all the novels written by Charles Dickens, you know that there is the plot and there are also a lot of subplots. Do you remember which were the characteristics of Dickens's novels? All of the Dickens's novels are full of characters, main characters, flat characters, caricatures, okay? If you go back to the lessons that I published on YouTube, you should remember it. And also at times is such a novel. So it is full of characters. Some of them are more important, some of them are less important. There is a plot with main characters, but there are also some subplots. Do you know why? Because he wanted to make the reader willing to buy the other installments, the other periodical publications. He was a professional writer, as we said more than once. So I will tell you which are the most important characters and what are the most important events in the summary, in the plot of this novel. We said that it is set in Coketown. It is an industrial city that it is northern. Yes, it is in the north, but it looks very much like a city in the south, as I said. And one of the most important central main characters is Thomas Gradgrind. Thomas Gradgrind. Okay, he has got some characteristics, some features. He leads a school. He is the master of a school. Okay, and his characteristic is that he lives according to the utilitarianism. Utilitarianism. Me ne avevo parlato anche nelle slides scorse di questa filosofia, di questo pensiero, l'utilitarismo. Thomas Gradgrind is the clear example of the utilitarian man. What is this, utilitarianism? Okay, when I speak of Sorry, there is something which doesn't work, but I will make it work. Okay, when I speak of utilitarianism, I refer to a theory which was developed by the philosophy Bentham, Jeremy Bentham, who lived from 1748 to 1832. This philosopher made this theory. What did he say? He stated that an action is right if it promotes the happiness of people. And an action is wrong, is bad, if it doesn't produce the happiness of people. It is very basic. This idea told like that is really easy. So something is good, my action is good, my action is right if I am happy, and if not only if I am happy, if I make the other people happy, and if I make myself happy, and what I do, my action is wrong, is bad, if I don't promote happiness, mine and the others. Okay, don't forget that one of the fundamental keys of this philosophical theory is that the happiness that my actions have to promote, okay, mustn't be only mine. So only the happiness of the promoter, of the person who makes the action, but the happiness that my actions promote must must affect everybody. Otherwise, it is not utile, it is not useful, utilitarian. So it means that what makes people happy is useful. What doesn't make people happy is not useful, is useless. Ciò che rende le persone felici è utile, ciò che non rende le persone felici è inutile. È utile ciò che rende le persone felici, non solo il singolo, not only the performer of the action, but everybody, all the people who are affected by the action itself. Ok, se non è chiaro ditemelo. This theory is fundamental in the character, or for the character, of Thomas Gradgrind. In fact, now we are going back to Thomas Gradgrind, the person we were speaking of. Thomas Gradgrind, we said that he is the owner of a school, è una sorta di proprietario di una scuola. Don't forget the importance of education, of schools during the Victorian age. Quindi potreste dire benissimo, e quindi è un proprietario di una scuola, vuole fare del bene, promuove l'educazione, l'istruzione, pensa che la felicità di tutti sia diciamo, lo scopo ultimo della vita, e quindi sarà un personaggio bravissimo. No, he is criticized deeply by Charles Dickens. Why? Because he rules his family according to rigid, strict principles. He is not only an utilitarian, but he is plainly materialistic. He thinks that the only possible values in life, and in his life, and in the life of his children, and in the lives of all the pupils who attend his school, are the material values, are what he calls the facts. Okay, so Dickens criticizes this man, he mocks him, he ridicules him, because is utilitarianism becomes simple, plain materialism. Quando è che l'utilitarismo diventa materialismo? When Mr. Gradgrind denies means nega, all the other values than the material ones. The most important things for Gradgrind are facts, real things, as he called them, the facts, ok? Fatti, cose reali. He banishes everything else. Ricordate quell'opposizione di cui abbiamo parlato prima? Tra fancy, between fancy and facts? He embodies facts. His education, his theory of education is based on facts. And everything in his life is based on facts. We will not read it, but in a passage taken from the chapter, the book 1 of Hard Times, Mr. Gradgrind is described and he is a square man. È un uomo descritto come quadrato. Everything in Mr. Gradgrind is square. Square. He has got a square finger. He has got a bald square head. Okay. Also his shoulders and the coat that he wears are square. He is as square, as precise as the facts that he wants in his life and in the life of all the people who live around him. Okay, so he denies everything else. And this man, Mr. Gradgrind, who is one of the protagonists of Hard Times, has 2 children, a girl whose name is Louisa and a boy whose name is Tom. Okay, and they are educated by their father, okay, and their education is based on facts. Vi racconto soltanto una breve curiosità, sapete che a me piacciono le curiosità. Do you know that they don't know a song? Their father never sings a song to them, a nursery rhyme, quello che si fa ai bambini. Gli si canta la ninna nanna, gli si cantano le canzoncine, gli si raccontano the fairy tales, ok? Thomas Gradgrind never uses fancy, non la usa mai la fantasia, quindi niente che abbia a che fare con qualcosa che non sia utile e che non sia factual, ok, concreta. He never uses fancy, he never uses fairy tales, he never uses nursery rhymes. Do you know how Louis and Tom used to play? They play in small labs. Chi crea delle sorte di laboratori in which they can do practical things, ma non laboratori tipo gli oggetti della Montessori, no, something which is really scientific, dove loro possano imparare già da bambini, ok, a costruire cose, to do things that will be useful for their lives. These are the principles, the facts his education is based on, okay? Then Thomas Gradgrind takes at home with him Sissy Jupe, who is the daughter of a man who works in a circus. Okay, so at the beginning of the novel, Gradgrind takes at home with him, with his children, and in his school, this Sissy stands for Cecilia, okay, Jupe, who is the daughter of a man who works in a circus. And this Sissy Jupe is the character in the novel who embodies the opposite of the facts, okay, who embodies fancy. She is the girl, the woman, then she will be a young woman whose life is based on the power of feelings, of fancy, of emotions. She is the opposite of Mr. Gradgrind and of his children. Okay? Then, all the story, I don't want to go on with all the details in the story, is based on the life mainly of Mr. Gradgrind and his children and of Sissy Jupe. And everything in their life is based on facts. Tom, who is the son, or Mr. Gradgrind's son, when he finishes school, he starts to working in the bank of another famous character, important character in the novel, who is a very rich, okay, and man, middle-class man who owns a bank, and who is Gradgrind's friend is Bounderby. Bounderby. Ok, guardate anche l'uso del nome, bounder. Do you know who is a bounder? Bounder in English significa mascalzone. Ok, so this man, già nel leggere il nome, l'inglese di quel periodo, si aspettava di trovare una persona che non fosse precisamente the most honest person in the world. This Bounderby is old and is a friend of is one of Gradgrind's, the senior's friends. Gradgrind's son, Tom, goes to work in his bank, and this old Bounderby gets married to Louisa. Immaginate questa vita. Mr. Gradgrind, questo proprietario di scuola, molto utilitarian, materialistic, ha 2 figli e li alleva così come abbiamo detto. Il primo cresce, Tom, e va a lavorare nella banca del migliore amico di Gradgrind, che è questo ricchissimo signor Bounderby. E lo stesso Bounderby sposa l'altra figlia di Mr. Gradgrind, gets married to Mr. Gradgrind's daughter, Louisa. But don't forget that Louisa's marriage will be completely unhappy. Unhappy. She will find another man, okay, a younger politician. His name is James, okay, and he will try to seduce her. She will think of escaping, of going away, of flying away with him, but in the end she will stay at home, okay? And Louisa's life and Tom's life will prove a failure. So all the principles, the materialistic, utilitarianistic principles on which Mr. Gradgrind had based their life will prove a failure. Saranno un fallimento. Only in the end of the novel, Mr. Gradgrind will understand that all his life, all the upbreeding of his children, upbreeding, quindi tutto il modo di educare, di crescere i propri figli, that was based on facts, has been a complete, total misunderstanding. That he hasn't had the facts that he wanted, okay? Everything, the end of the story is not a happy one, okay? Why? Because all the problems caused by this type of education, by the materialism, by the utilitarianism, by the prevalence, okay, of facts over fancy, will bring the lives of all the characters to something that is not positive, okay? This is what we can say about the novel, generally speaking. Io adesso esco da qui e vi invece leggiamo qualcosa per farvi capire il tono. Sorry guys, here you are. Okay, Se volete seguirmi potete anche aprire il libro, altrimenti comunque io adesso ve lo mostro, that is, e leggeremo questo brano, This Extract, che si trova a pagina 84 e 85 del vostro Amazing Minds number 2. Ok, lo vedete, vero? Can you see it? I think so. Oh, sorry. Ok. Coketown. You know what is Coketown? Prendete appunti su questo, è vero che la lezione la metto online, ma però non si dice, per seguirla, per non seguirla 2 volte vi conviene prendere appunti. Vi dico anche che la traduzione letterale ve la metto subito dopo la fine della lezione online, quindi concentriamoci più sui significati che sullo scrivere la traduzione, ok? Because you know I will never ask you the translation, I need the translation only to make you understand what I mean, ok? Perché il vostro, chi ha creato la vostra antologia ha scelto questo brano? Because in this extract taken from the book 1, chapter 5 of the novel Hard Times, there are all the characteristics of the industrial cities, industrial towns at Dickens's times, and there is a perfect description of the mechanization and repetitiveness of the life of people. So of the mechanization and of the repetitiveness which Dickens condemns. Ok? Leggiamola insieme. Poi vi dico dove fermarvi perché non lo leggeremo tutto, leggeremo soltanto una prima parte. So, I have got it here. Io la leggo dal foglio perché da qui a lì I can't see well, ok? It was a town of red brick, or of brick that would have been red if the smoke and the ashes had allowed it. Allora, first of all, we're speaking of Coketown. You know what Coketown is. Coketown is the fictional setting of Hard Times, this industrialized town. We have already said that the name comes from coke, which is a type of coal, and the town, so the town of the coal coke. Quindi vediamo come ce la descrive Dickens, or the narrator, the third person omniscient or partially omniscient narrator. Era una città of red brick, fatta di mattoni rossi. Brick is mattoni, red rossi. Ok. O meglio, dice lui, of brick that would have been red, this is a conditional, un condizionale passato di terzo tipo, quindi o di mattoni che sarebbero stati rossi se the smoke and the ashes, se il fumo e le ceneri lo avessero permesso. So, we know what type of city, of town Coketown was. It was an industrial city, and we know why it was industrial. And we also know why it wasn't very rich. It was a typical mushroom town that was born around the factories. Ricordate quando abbiamo detto che nell'età vittoriana nascono queste mushroom towns, quindi queste città fungo che si sviluppano pian piano intorno alle fabbriche? Ok, this is a clear example. Da che cosa lo capiamo? Because it is made of red bricks. The red bricks were a very poor material, and the red bricks were used for the new houses, the houses built around the factories. They were very cheap. They were poor. Okay, so we know that Coketown firstly was a modern town, was newly built, era stata costruita da poco, fatta con, it was made of red bricks, so it was a popular, an industrial city, town, built around the factories. E poi sappiamo un'altra cosa, that the city was polluted, polluted, inquinata. Da che cosa lo sappiamo? Dopo lo sapremo ancora da altre indicazioni che ci darà Dickens. Ma qui, in the very first line, we can come to know it, because it says that the bricks would have been red, avrebbero potuto essere, sarebbero stati, ok, rossi, se the smoke and ashes had allowed it, se il fumo e le ceneri glielo avessero permesso. Quindi secondo voi di che colore sono diventati questi mattoni? Grazie o a causa del fumo e delle ceneri? They are black, they are gray, they have lost their reddish color. They are not red anymore. They would have been red if the smoke and the ashes had allowed it. Okay? But as matters stood significa ma per come stanno i fatti, ok? Quindi come dicono i fatti, it was a town of unnatural red and black, like the painted face of a savage. Ma per come stanno i fatti, quindi come dice la realtà dei fatti, Coketown, essa era una città di un rosso e nero, unnatural. State attenti all'uso degli aggettivi. Pay attention to the use of the adjective. Di un innaturale rosso e nero, come, this is a comparison, a simili, ok? Sta usando una figura retorica, una similitudine, a figure of speech, come il viso dipinto di un selvaggio. It is not natural. The adjective which Dickens is using here is unnatural. Coketown was unnatural. Its color was unnatural. There was some red, the red of the bricks, and there was the black of smoke, the black of the ashes. These two colors put together were unnatural. Unnatural means not natural. Like the face of a savage when he paints it. Avete mai visto un, tra virgolette, selvaggio? Ok? Quando si dipinge il viso con il nero, che più nero non si può, nero pece, e con il rosso, it is not natural. And this is the comparison, the simile used by Dickens to say, to stress, to underline, to highlight the fact that the colors in Coketown were not natural. Don't forget, voglio che la sottolineate questa parola, questo aggettivo, ve lo sottolineo anche io. Unnatural. Il primo aggettivo che lui ci usa per descrivere questa città è proprio questo. I suoi colori sono unnatural. Ok? And that's what he wants to say. Firstly, unnatural. The colors are not natural. Then, let's go on. It was, forse ci leggo. It was a town of machinery and tall chimneys. Era una città di machinery and tall chimneys, di macchinari e alte ciminiere. So we know that it was unnatural and that it was full of machinery, macchinari, and tall chimneys. Again, we know that le machinery sono naturali? No, they are not natural. And the chimneys are natural? No. So here again, he is stressing the fact, that everything in the town, in Coketown, is not natural. Non ci parla di fiumi, campagna, ma ci parla di cose che non sono per niente naturali. È una città fatta da che cosa? Made of machinery, tall chimneys, industrial, ok? Ciminiere. out of which, fuori dalle quali, quindi fuori dalle ciminiere, fuori dalle quali interminable, serpents of smoke trailed themselves forever and never gotten cold. Quindi fuori dalle quali, ok, interminabili serpenti di fumo si arrotolavano forever and ever, continuamente, senza smettere mai, and never got uncoiled, e mai si disattorcigliavano, cioè smettevano di attorcigliarsi. Quindi attenti all'uso della lingua. That's why I will not read it all, but we will go to here, ok? Leggeremo solo questa parte qui, perché il lessico, la lingua che lui usa, non è mai casuale, ok? Guardiamo le ripetizioni e le cose che dice. Parla di interminable serpents of smoke. Interminable, perché non me lo fa sottolineare? Oh my god, vabbè, sottolineatelo voi, sorry guys. Interminable serpents, quindi usa la parola interminable, interminabili, infiniti, e poi ancora qualcosa che dà il senso della ripetizione, di quello che non finisce mai, forever and ever. So these serpents of smoke, which came out of the tall chimneys, trailed forever and never. And never, ok? E non si fermavano mai, non smettevano mai di arrotolarsi. It is like a description of a modern, of a contemporary industrialized town. If you go to, for example, if you look at Milan from the top, or if you look at an industrialized city, you will see that these chimneys always get out, okay, interminable serpents of smoke, interminable, forever and ever. They never finish, they are perpetual, they go on, ok? Andiamo a vedere un'altra caratteristica, quindi la città è unnatural, full of machinery, full of tall chimneys, it's polluted, okay, because the bricks are black, okay, there are serpents of smoke. Poi quali sono le altre caratteristiche? It had a black canal in it, ci vedo male, and a river that ran purple with ill-smelling dye. Però c'era qualcosa di naturale, guardiamolo un po'. Aveva un canale in it, cioè quindi nella città c'era un canale, però questo canale, guardate di nuovo di che colore è. It had a black canal. Quando voi pensate ad un canale, ad un ruscello, pensate ad un ruscello d'acqua fresca. Invece di che colore era? What color was the canal which flew through Coketown? It was black. As black as the bricks made black by the smoke and the ashes that we saw before. Ricordate prima, nei primi due righe abbiamo detto che i mattoni, gli stessi mattoni, erano diventati neri a causa dello smoke e delle ashes, del fumo e delle ceneri che venivano fuori dalle tall chimneys. Lo stesso colore, the same unnatural black, is the color of the only canal, okay, that flows, okay, that flows. But in English it's not canal, it's canal, sorry. A canal, the black canal that flows in Coketown. So the only natural thing is not natural at all, because for the pollution it is black. Ok? Quindi aveva un canale nero, E non aveva solo un canale, un'altra cosa naturalissima, and a river. Ha anche un fiume, però guardiamo quali sono. Let's have a look at the characteristics of this river. Ed un fiume that ran purple, che scorreva ed era di colore purple, violaceo, with ill smelling dye, quindi che scorreva di colore purple a causa di una dye, è la stessa cosa che vi ho detto prima per i capelli, quindi di tinture ill smelling, che avevano un cattivo odore. So we know that the factories used dyes. Sappiamo che le fabbriche usavano delle tinture e che i prodotti, cioè queste tinture venivano scaricate nel fiume che cambiava di colore, ran purple, and was ill smelling, e aveva anche un cattivo odore. Ok? You know that I am from Prato, okay? And Prato used to be, after the Second World War, the center of the textile industry in Italy. E Prato era, alla fine della Seconda Guerra Mondiale, fino agli anni '80, il centro dell'industria tessile italiana, quindi di industrie, i colorifici, le tintorie, ok? Ce n'erano davvero tantissime. A Prato ci scorre un fiume che si chiama il Bisenzio, che è un affluente del fiume Arno, poi sfocia nell'Arno, che è il fiume che scorre, flows through Florence. E tutte le persone che hanno vissuto lì fino agli anni '80 dicevano che sapevano quali sarebbero stati i colori alla moda, ok? Nella moda dell'anno successivo, perché il fiume cambiava colore. Il fiume diventava giallo se i colori usati nelle tintorie era prevalentemente il giallo, verde se era il verde. And so this characteristic of the pollution of the river is true. Okay, it's not invented by Dickens. Dickens knew which were the effects of pollution. Okay, this is just a curiosity that I would like to share with you. So, there was also a river, torniamo alla traduzione, c'era anche un fiume che diventava, che scorreva di color rosso porpora, ok, diciamolo così, violaceo, con una tintura maleodorante. And vediamo cosa c'era più in questa città. Vast piles of building full of windows. E c'erano, state attenti alla parola, vaste, grandi pile di building, di edifici pieni di finestre. Anche questa parola, piles, ok? Cosa vi fa venire in mente? Io che vi dico, c'erano pile di, avete mai sentito parlare di pile di edifici? Solitamente diciamo pile di vestiti, significa colonne altissime, ok? Ho fatto una pila di vestiti, una pila di libri, ma non una pila di buildings, di edifici. So it means that these buildings were had all the same shape, avevano tutti la stessa forma, come delle pile, sembravano impilati gli uni sugli altri. They were piled, ok? All of them with the same shape. And in these buildings, were full of windows. Quindi c'erano delle vaste pile di edifici pieni di finestre, where there was a rattling and a trembling all day long. Dove, cioè dietro, in questi edifici, dietro quelle finestre, c'era un rattling and trembling, c'era un mormorio, un brusio e un movimento tutto il giorno. Ok? Di che edifici stiamo parlando secondo voi? Tutti uguali, vast and full of windows, in which there was a rattling and trembling all day long. Guardate di nuovo all day long, che si accompagna a interminable, forever and never, ok? All day long, continuamente, tutto il giorno. Si parla, is describing the factories, these vast piles of building where there was rattling and trembling all day long, dove c'era un movimento continuo, ok, tutto il giorno, the factories, and where, e nei quali, in questi edifici, the piston, pay attention, the piston of the steam engine, il pistone del motore a vapore, worked monotonously up and down, lavorava monotonamente, in maniera monotona, ok? Up and down, muovendosi su e giù, come the head of an elephant in a state of melancholy madness, come la testa di un elefante che si trova in uno stato di malinconica pazzia. Qui ci dobbiamo soffermare. We have to stop here on this simile. This is the second simile that we find. The first was this one. So Dickens, in the first part of this extract, compares the color, the unnatural red and black of the walls of the houses with the painted face of a savage. Here he compares, vediamo che cosa sta paragonando, the movement, the repetitive movement of the piston of the steam engine. Avete presente cosa sono i pistoni? Ok, pensate, avete preso tutti la patente, quindi sapete, il pistone sale e scende per poi mettere in moto la turbina, ok, che crea il movimento. Ok? Quindi per trasformare l'energia termica in energia meccanica, to change the thermal energy into mechanic energy, energy of movement. Non lo dite alla prof di fisica che ho detto così perché sicuramente mi retrocede alla prima elementare, but more or less this is what happens. Ok? The thermic energy changes into an energy of movement. And the piston goes up and down. I pistoni si trovano in tutti i motori, ok? E quindi anche nei motori che fanno funzionare le fabbriche, le macchine, the machinery of the factories. Dickens here is comparing the monotonous, repetitive movement of the piston of the machinery in the factories con che cosa? Con qualche altra cosa che lui reputa come savage, selvaggio, lontano. An elephant, con la testa di un elefante, ma non con la testa di un elefante normale, un elefante che si trova in uno stato di malinconica follia, malinconica pazzia. A che elefante secondo voi fa riferimento? Avete mai visto voi un elefante in un circo? Un elefante che viene tenuto in gabbia o in uno spazio ristretto? O peggio, ma anche meglio, un criceto, a hamster in a cage. Che cosa fa un hamster in a cage? Avete presente quanto corre su quella ruota? Oppure avete mai visto la testa di un elefante o di una tigre in gabbia? This is the movement. This is the state of melancholy madness. Uno stato di follia malinconica. Essere privati della libertà, not having freedom anymore, being forced to do the same thing every day, over and over, forever and ever, makes people melancholy, makes people mad. This is an effect of the mechanization. And here Dickens is comparing the monotonous movement, repetitive movement of the piston in the steam engine with the movement up and down of the head of an elephant. And it stresses the repetitiveness, the melancholy, the madness of the life in this place, in the factories, in an industrial city. Ok? Ci siamo quasi. It contained several large streets. It is always referred to Coketown. Ok? Essa, la città di Coketown, contained, conteneva conteneva, sì, several large streets, molte grandi strade, ok? All very like one another. Anche qui voglio che vi soffermiate adesso sulla ripetizione. Tutte molto simili le une alle altre. Quindi, there were several large streets and all of them were very like one another. And many small streets, still more like one another, e conteneva anche molte piccole strade ancora più simili le une alle altre. Guardiamo le ripetizioni che sta usando. How many repetitions Dickens is using in this short extract? Very like one another, still more like one another. Continuiamo. Inhabited by people equally like one another. Abitate, ok, queste strade vissute, ok, da persone ugualmente simili le une alle altre, who all went in and out at the same hours, da persone che andavano tutte fuori e rientravano alle stesse ore, with the same sound, facendo lo stesso rumore, upon the same pavements, sugli stessi marciapiedi. To do the same work, guardate la ripetizione di same, ok? Per fare lo stesso lavoro, and to whom, e per le quali, quindi per cui, per le quali persone, every day, ogni giorno, che tristezza, scusate è una mia parentesi, per cui ogni giorno was the same, era lo stesso as yesterday, era lo stesso del giorno precedente, and tomorrow, è lo stesso di domani, del giorno successivo. And every year, e per cui ogni anno, was the counterpart of the last, non era nient'altro che la controparte, quindi lo specchio del precedente e del successivo. What does he say? Cosa dice? Io adesso torno al mio viso. What does he say? He is stressing with these repetitions, the same, over and over, okay? He is stressing the fact that the life in Coketown, and so in all the industrialized cities and towns in Britain, is repetitive. Is always the same. Nothing changes. This is the risk of the mechanization. E questo è il rischio della meccanizzazione. Ciò che a Coketown è già successo e che succederà in tutte le altre città industriali del mondo. What will happen in all the industrialized towns in the world? The life of people will be mechanized. There will be nothing natural. Is using, state attenti a questi, a repetitive language, sta usando un linguaggio ripetitivo to speak of the repetitiveness of the life in the industrial cities, per parlare della ripetitività, della monotonia della vita nella città industriale. This repetitiveness, this monotony, this melancholy is what characterizes the life, and it also characterizes his language. Io vi ho sempre detto Dickens non mi piace tanto, però usa la parola in maniera grandiosa. Usare le ripetizioni per dare il senso della ripetitività. Is using here a lot of repetitions to give us the sense of the repetitiveness of life in this city. Ok? Questo è quello che io volevo dirvi per oggi. So, hard times, the general features, the most important characters, and the analysis of this short extract. Per me va bene così. Voglio che c'hai, Nina? Stai male? Mi sei addormentata, sei stanca. It can be boring, I know, but we must. Vi ho fatto solo questa selezione di questo piccolo brano perché c'è un po' riassunto tutto quello che volevo dirvi, ok? Quindi vi do i riferimenti al testo e vi dico quello che voi dovete fare sul testo. Sul testo, oltre a quello che già vi ho dato, quello che dovevate fare, vi dovete studiare, vi metterò anche le slide comunque, ok? Hard times, quindi the plot, le cose principali che vi ho detto io, chi sono i personaggi principali, quali sono i temi, i temi, the themes, quindi pagina e page 81, poi ve lo scrivo anche sull'agenda, pagina 81, e poi il brano che abbiamo letto insieme, però soltanto fino a next, quindi fino al rigo 10, 11, 12, fino al rigo 13, di Coketown, description of the setting of the novel. Questo dovete fare, quindi studiare bene. Io vi metterò sì, anche l'analisi, va bene, vi metterò una sorta di breve analisi, quella che ho fatto, molto condensata, più la traduzione di questo brano online, e questo va tutto per lunedì prossimo, ok? Lunedì prossimo poi ci vedremo, no, lunedì, scusate, martedì prossimo ci vedremo online con Oscar Wilde, e vi parlerò di Oscar Wilde and the Picture of Dorian Gray, e l'estetismo, ok? Per ora vi saluto, studiate, vi metto tutto online, and anche questa lezione adesso la pubblico e la metto online se qualcuno si è addormentato nel frattempo e ha bisogno di riguardarsela, if somebody has fallen asleep, ok? Se avete bisogno di... Allora, le persone che mi hanno mandato qualcosa per le tesine risponderò in settimana, va bene? Gli altri se vogliono mandarmela, you can, and I will find time to answer you and to help you if you need. Okay? See you online on Tuesday. Bye bye, girls.
Bye.
Arrivederci.
Bye.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. A spengere la registrazione, fermi tutti. Ok.